Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into today's video. I want to jump into my top 5 winners for the Eagles based on what they did this offseason. A fun list, an interesting list, and a list I think you guys will probably agree with me on a lot of the grounds. Let's start with the obvious one. Biggest winner this offseason. I mean, number one, Jalen Hurts, the quarterback. Entering this season, right? Obviously, Carson Wentz gets traded, and the expectation was, okay, Hurts takes over the reins, but then pre-NFL draft, we talked a lot about it here on the channel. Are they going to take a quarterback? Are they going to trade for Deshaun Watson? Are they going to sign somebody in free agency? And it was all like, commit to Hurts or don't. And in the end, it's very clear they went ahead and committed to Jalen Hurts. They also gave him a bunch of weapons. And we'll talk about the weapons here in just one second, all of which are fantastic. And it seems like he's having some great passing camps with his wide receivers and was raved about by his fellow teammates both on the offense and defensive side of the football during the Eagles OTAs, which has happened, of course, over the past couple of weeks. So the first part here, the Eagles did not add any competition at quarterback, although I think they did a great job in terms of what they did overall at the quarterback spot. Flacco, great backup. You have Nick Foles type vibes there. I'm not saying he's going to be, but still very capable to come in and win a game if Hurts need to miss a late December, early January game overall. And Nick Mullins, who I think is, a very good backup, and in fact, he's going to be number 3 on this roster, is fantastic. Had a lot of starts at quarterback with the 49ers. Not a lot of wins, but still good depth, but no competition or worry of Ertz looking back over his shoulder being like, oh man, here comes, insert second-round draft pick quarterback Kellen Mond that they could have taken, right? So good there. In terms of additions, look at this. DeVonta Smith, a true number 1 wide receiver, a Heisman Trophy winner. Last time the Eagles had a Heisman Trophy winner. Goodness gracious. Landon Dickerson, center of the future, having him out further down the line. Not this year. Of course, Kelsey's still there. Kerryon Johnson, you guys know, fan favorite, trying to recreate the LeGarrette Blount, blunt force trauma, big boy running back they had a couple of years ago during the Super Bowl. And then a speedster in case Miles Sanders gets hurt at some point, and Kenny Gainwell. These are all great additions for Jalen Hurts. He had a fantastic offseason. I think he's really embraced the idea of being the number 1 quarterback. And plus, not for mention, the offensive line is healthy too. That's going to go a very long way overall for Hurts' success. So I think he's the number 1 winner this offseason. Truly had a fantastic, fantastic offseason. And now it's just grabbing number 1 quarterback's job by the horns and then jumping into becoming the leader of this football team. Because it's all there, right? Here's your receivers. Here's your healthy offensive line. Here's a new offensive-minded head coach who believes in you, right? Assuming Sirianni likes him. Here's no quarterback battles, and we'll throw in some good running backs as well, that we have plenty of running backs in terms of handing the ball off to. Now, just become the leader that you have been at Alabama and really were at Oklahoma. Win the games you did, but both those places as well. Fix the accuracy issues as a problem last year, but again, I don't want to count that against them. It was early. And boom, I think he can have a lot of success with a very, not easy schedule, but a winnable schedule in a division which has a lot of question marks with every other football team in terms of Dallas and Washington and the Giants and all that sort of thing. So I am excited, and I think Jalen Hurts, again, had a fantastic, fantastic offseason, and he's the big winner so far based on what Philadelphia has done. And I'm going to give credit to Howie Roseman for not creating drama, because he could have drafted Kyle Trask. He could have drafted Kellen Mond, and he didn't. And that's huge, and I think it's being overlooked a little bit in terms of the hate people have for Howie Roseman. First question down below. Did the Eagles do enough to help Jalen Hurts this offseason? I think they did. I don't know what else you want, unless you wanted them to sign somebody in free agency, like another receiver, but there weren't a lot out there, in my opinion. Kenny Golladay was thrown out there. I would have liked to have him, but I would take Smith over Golladay, so I would say they did enough, but let me know what you guys think. If they think they did enough to help Jalen Hurts, type Y down below for yes. If you think that they did not do enough, then type N down below for no. But if you type N, let me know why. Like, who else did you think the Eagles needed to go out and get in order for you to say they did do enough? So again, did the Eagles do enough to help Hurts this offseason? Type Y down below for yes. If you think that they did not, then go down below and type N down below for no. All right, let's go and jump into some more players who were big winners this offseason. We'll start with Dallas Goedert. We'll move on to Dallas Goedert. I think Goedert had a de facto, default, very good offseason. He's a winner. Now, why? That's because Zach Ertz is going to be traded or cut. He might already be traded or cut by the time you watch this video. That can happen any day, technically. Upon filming this, he's still technically in Philadelphia. But Goddard is very clear the number 1 tight end in Philly. And really, Philadelphia didn't do much in terms of getting him some backups or people around him in order to provide some competition there, which I don't think they needed to. But I think if Goddard stays healthy, this is going to be a huge year for him. Now, last year, health was an issue, right? 11 games, not 16, missed 5, 46 catches, 524 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That would have been up to probably 60 or 65 catches had he played in 6 other games, maybe more. He would have had at least 800 yards and probably 6 or 7 touchdowns. Great stat line. So he would have been fine and really good, and we look back on it saying great year for Dallas Goedert had he been healthy. But in terms of the competition, not a lot there. Like, they re-signed Richard Rodgers, who's been very consistent in terms of being an option, a lot more yards than you expect last year, but he's not really going to compete for roster time from Dallas Goedert. They have Caleb Wilson on the roster. Tyree Jackson could be a potential dark horse, make the roster guy. But overall, Goddard has not a lot of competition around him. And by default, without Zach Ertz, this offense will still go to the tight end, and he's going to be the guy to be there. And I think he's ready. I really like Dallas Goddard. I thought the draft pick was fantastic a couple of years ago. Health is going to be an issue. But if he's healthy, he's one of the best tight ends in the National Football League, and I think he'll prove that here in 2021. Drop a like if you guys agree on that, by the way. Drop a like down below, but right by the subscribe button if you think that Dallas Goedert's going to have a big year. Give this video a thumbs up. I think you guys are going to thumbs it up a lot because you agree with me. All right, so let's get into one defensive player, because I don't think a lot of defensive players got help this offseason. I think that they had some good additions. I love Eric Wilson being signed. I love Anthony Harris being signed. But the one defensive player who was a big winner this offseason is Josh Sweat. And it's for a couple of reasons. Number one, Philadelphia did not invest in the defensive line from a draft perspective at all, right? They drafted Taron Jackson in the 6th round, but he's not going to be in there taking snaps away from Josh Sweat. The Eagles did add veteran Ryan Kerrigan, but again, I don't think Kerrigan's going to start. He needs to be a rotational guy. So Sweat, it's his job to win. And with Derek Barnett entering the final year of his deal and being very average last year, I think he can win that job. And if he does, his time to shine is going to be now, because he, again, in limited snaps last year, in 14 games had six sacks. You figure you get to 8 sacks from a defensive end perspective. Brandon Graham has 8 sacks. Fletcher Cox gets in with 6. I mean, this defensive line is going to absolutely hunt people and going to really get after the quarterback and really be extremely dangerous. They still have plenty of guys to rotate in there, and it will be a rotational defensive line front. But the fact that Kerrigan is not expected to be playing, 50% of the snaps, he played 30% last year with Washington, and Derek Barnett's up and down performances, I think Sweat has a real chance to go ahead and dominate here in 2021. Before I get into my last 2 players, both on offense, by the way, you're going to like the next one. Make sure to download the Newsbreak app to be up to date with the latest and greatest local news, weather, politics, and sports as well. It's like a newspaper, but way better at the tip of your fingers, and you decide what you want in terms of content customization. So go to chatsports.com/EaglesNB to download the app. That link will be down below me in the description box. And then search for us, Eagles Now by Chat Sports, in the little Newsbreak search bar, and then you can follow all of our content, our posts, our news, our videos, our rumors, all that sort of stuff, all, again, at the tip of your finger. Download it right now, chatsports.com/EaglesNB. Okay, one offensive lineman who had a really good offseason in terms of being a winner is Lane Johnson. A couple of reasons. Let me explain. One, he's going to be healthy from that ankle injury. The ankle surgery that he had is great because he was putting it off last year, trying to play through it, finally decided to shut it down, get it cleaned up, and he's going to be 100% healthy, which is huge for Philly because he's one of the best right tackles in the National Football League. But really, the big benefit for Lane Johnson this offseason is getting back Brandon Brooks, his partner in crime. Brooks and Johnson are BFFs off the field, and they're really good together on the football field. It's the best right guard and right tackle combo when healthy in the entire NFL. They're stupid good on the right side. And Philadelphia is at their best and win a lot more games when you have both Brooks and Lane Johnson out there. And again, both are expected to be healthy, and both are expected to be playing at a very, very high level. Overall, it's going to be a great offensive line. I said before, this is a top 5 offensive line when healthy. 100%. And as long as Brooks comes back from Achilles injury number 2 and is back at full strength, then boom. This is going to be a super strong right side of the football, and goes back to the idea that Jalen Hurts is going to benefit because this offensive line, as you saw in 2017, they eat and they dominate pass rushers, and there's some good ones happening right now in the NFC East. And so, big fan of Johnson getting healthy, even bigger fan of Brandon Brooks coming back. Both of them are winners here this offseason. Okay, before we get into number 5 here, we get into our final one. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Plenty more stuff coming up in the days and weeks ahead as we get closer and closer to training camp. By the time you watch this video, it's going to almost be July. And so end of July, training camp starts, and so get pumped for that. Go ahead and go down below. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, that way you're notified as well. All right, final big winner this offseason. I'm going to go with Jalen Reagor, and a couple of reasons why. Reagor is entering his second year in Philadelphia and obviously had super high expectations in season number 1, but they were way too lofty and had way too much pressure on him, right? He had injuries, and then, of course, they didn't have a lot of help around him, and so people were expecting a first-round draft pick to be an instant impact at a massive position of need, and he just wasn't. He was terrible last year, and he really wouldn't even stay on the football field that long. Now, fast forward, he's healthy, it's year 2, he's learned the offense, and now has a true number 1 wide receiver to run alongside him who takes all the pressure off of his shoulders. All the eyes are going to be on DeVonta Smith. People are going to forget Jalen Reagor even exists until he comes out in the football field and starts to ball. And so I'm pumped to see what he can do in this new look, revamped, super young but talented Eagles wide receiver depth chart. Look at this. Smith, Reagor, Fulgham, Ward, a fantastic 1, 2, 3, 4 punch. We're all excited about each and every one of those guys. And then he makes in some dark horse guys. Maybe Hightower plays well this year. Maybe Wes Watkins or even J.J. Arthur-Whiteside. Doubt it, but still, who knows? All of these, to me, are going to result in Reagor getting a lot more one-on-one chances, going to play in the slot a little bit more, where he's very naturally good from TCU, and give him a lot better stat line than what you currently see up on your screen right now. Again, just never really got in the football field and wasn't really featured a lot. He had that one touchdown, and that was it on that little out route, that little speed out at the goal line. I forget what game it was, maybe the Saints game or whatever it was, but not a lot of success. But I think that year 2 can be the year where he has has a bunch of success. Therefore, he makes my list of the biggest offseason winners in Philadelphia. We'll end on this question. Who's the biggest offseason winner overall in Philly? I'll say it's Jalen Hurts, the first guy on my list. Very obvious, but I want to see what you guys think. Go down below. Give me your biggest offseason winners in Philadelphia in the comments section. All for today here at Philadelphia Eagles Now. Again, I'm your host, Thomas Mott. Make sure you guys are subscribed. More videos are coming in the next couple of days and weeks, so stay tuned for that. Again, we're going to sign off. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.